Okay, so it's time to take on these rocker panels. This is what I have after they're off. Particularly this little area needs to be rebuilt. So this is where the seat belt harness or the little roller machine fit. You can see on the other side how it has to look like that. So I'm thinking one solid piece across here that also rolls into the inside of that. Should do it. And then I've got to rebuild this whole front. That's that little bump out and down. But I'll see how. So this thing's a little, so I think it's gonna go down to like here. And then I get up to about there. So, it's pretty doable. Wish me luck. All right, I thought this might be of interest. So I've been fitting this piece in here, and I finally got it to where I want. But there's a fair amount of pressure on it. You can see it wants to move out of place. So until I tack weld it, I want to make sure that this spot I found, because it matches up with all these pieces, and it's really important that it stays there because I'm going to have to cut that opening for the seat belt right here. So I used this little tool that I bought some time ago. There's this Celica lock connectors. I bought it some time ago and never used them, but this seemed like a perfect application. So what they do is they lock like that. I have a little thing. Well, let's see if we can get it so it shows it expanding. Yeah, you see that? And then you can put them back in and they hold. So I've got those two spots marked. All right, that's it. Onward. All right, so some progress on this rocker. I got this piece in. This long runner down here, all this was just crushed before. So, and that's pretty good. That's, what did I use there? 16 gauge. So that's pretty strong. And then I had to rebuild. I don't know if you can really see this. I had to rebuild this whole assembly here where the seat belt moors into. So these bolts screws in from the other side. So that was a bit of work, right? Because it was this one big piece that actually runs up underneath here, all the way out to the back. And then I put these reinforcement pieces on, which are actually part of my old chipper. So I'm gonna clean all this up, put a coat of primer on it, and then it'll time to fit that rocker on here. That's gonna be an adventure. Well, I got the rocker fit, and I guess you should put fit in quotes, because it seems like a pretty imperfect science. Like I've got some pretty large gaps here, but you have to really pull it down into the skirt. So my plan is just to button up the top. These are all going to be plug welds from the backside that are all drilled out already from when I pulled the original rocker, and then seam this up really strong and then try to pull that in. So that's the strategy on both sides. And then it's plug welds along the bottom. So wish me luck. All right, so I got that rocker pretty much in. In certain ways, I'm super happy with it. In other ways, it definitely kind of pops out abruptly and in, but You know, for a first effort, I'm gonna take it. This one is a little more tricky. There's this rounded bulb here that looks like, take a look to the other side of the car, that looks like this here, that the front quarter panel is going to come down and mate to. So there's 2 screws under there. So I've got to sort of fabricate that end piece. I made a mold or a template using tape. That's right here. So I just basically taped over the whole thing and then cut it off. So I'm going to try to do this in one piece that comes together, and this will fold together like an orange peel. We'll see. Wish me luck. All right, so I got that origami piece built. I'm pretty happy with it. So I've got a gap here that I'm not too happy with, but I think as I weld this and push it in, that'll fill. So that's the hope. But again, a plug for these Celica devices. You have this Celica tool. Basically keeps your work in place with these little pegs. And you know, they're remarkably handy. Because to force this thing into these little holes and make it do what I need to do without having something to hold it, I mean, I guess I could have used vice grips too, but these are pretty handy because on both sides I know it's just never going to move, because that's the position I want, because it's flush there and I'm okay on the bottom. So I measured from here down and it's matching the other side. So that's important for the dog leg on the quarter panel. All right, that's all for now. All right, so I finished this rocker. This came out really nice. Actually, I was super happy with that. It's obviously not finished welding, be cleaned up, but not too happy with how that comes out of there. So that comes out and then goes back in. It should be flush with this segment of the door. So I think what I'm going to do is going to cut all along that line and then tuck it in and stitch it up. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think that's what has to be done. All right, so I cut it and I got it clamped. You can see that's much finer. So if we look down from the top, that line is pretty good. It's hard to tell for sure with the clamps on there, but I think that's what I'm looking for, is basically this lip, and that comes out just a little bit, because that's what we have here, and that's coming out. So I'm going to tack that up. I'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to call that a win. You can see down the line how it's just under that door sill. Super happy with that. So I just have to go through here and stitch the rest of that up. So I'm taking a little different approach on the passenger side with this rocker. So instead of taking the whole thing out, because the sill is pretty decent, I'm going to leave that and I just cut it here. I mean, I had to cut and clamshell the other side anyway, so I'm going to have to run a long stitch line, so it is what it is. So I took that out. I've got the new runner in down here, replacing what was just completely rotted out. And I finished this up front. This kind of bulby front to this rocker is a real trick. Like this piece that I stitched in here that basically anchors what is the quarter panel that sits on the front here. So I had to I got 2 screws in here. There's 2 nuts welded on the inner side of this. Getting these angles like this, this curve. And then this was pretty rotted out because basically what you have here is you have the water running off the windshield and coming down here. And it's just splashing over this whole thing. So this was completely gone. So just like as an example, just to put this little piece in here, this little dog leg piece, I think that was like 4 to 5 hours of work. I mean, just all these little angles to get this to sit in there. It's just amazing how much work it is. But in any case, so this, I took that piece and I cut it. So this is just going to sit in there. And I think my strategy is going to be to attach it up top and then slowly roll it in and anchor the bottom with all these plug welds. So that's the plan. Wish me luck. From the Department of Amazing Results, rocker is in. Obviously some more cleanup to do, but I am really happy with that. It preserved this little indent here pretty well, where the quarter panel will meet, and all down through here. And this thing is in there. This seems pretty nice. Some filler. Well, cleaning up some more and throw some filler in there. See some of the beautiful work on the inside too. So, rockers are done. That's a big project. And these things were terrible. And now they're effectively pristine, which is awesome. All right, thanks for watching.